As dog can be best friend, trees may be spirit guide. Idea of spirit as linked to afterlife goes back at least 50,000 years, when Neanderthal were known to have buried dead in graves, along with artifacts and tools, suggesting a belief that death to body doesn't end spiritual existence. Beyond artifact data, indulge in speculation. How far back were spirit feelings felt by hominids, or are felt by other life relations? A coincident time frame resonates, the last couple 100 million years, when Western connection to the Atlantic and Mediterranean formed land bridge between Europe and Africa. The Mediterranean quite nearly evaporates, then again refills. Himalayas rise through Eurasia from Indian subduction, evolving terrestrial communities, including almond and peach. Such is the setting when humanity emerges with botanical covenant and life thrives on Earth. Contemplation of an afterlife offers individuals spiritual choices when imagining the immortal idea. The soul is but one, representing the transcendent spiritual identity, affirmed by Plato 2,000 years ago, described in Hinduism thousands of years before. Some in neuroscience offer that the spirit of mind, the ghost in the machine, was addressed in the 20th century by determinism. The idea that all actions are caused by preceding events, events being subject to the laws of nature. The chain of causes leading to the events in the universe, according to my understanding of determinism, is the chain of events, not just the chain of particles in the universe. And as logic follows, there are more events than just actions involving atoms when determining actions. It's hard to distinguish the statistically random from the deterministic reality, and so both may be apparent. Whether random or determined by preceding events, or a mix, both stochastic and deterministic models serve the understanding of the mind. And when discussing the mind, it's relevant to remember a concept of mind is representative of conversation, communication, the call and response between self and non-self. One brain to another engages the mind. Traits in population are useful for understanding adaptive advantages that aid survival behavior. Pattern recognition is one such trait, and it seems possible that pattern recognition is widely shared among diverse life forms to a degree. Pattern recognition allows us to be trained and automatically recognize patterns in the abnormal. As experienced by radiologists, pattern recognition brought humanity alphabets and language. Julian Jaynes hypothesized of a bicameral mind, an ancestral split billing theory, whereby neurons in structural left hemisphere of Wernicke's area, functioning in speech and language recognition, were once less well connected to cells in Wernicke's right hemisphere analog. Some offer that the historically less connected brain, or as Jaynes suggests, a less integrated two-hemisphere structure, has transmitted innate information, perceived in voice, and represents a survival instruction to self, interpreted by left brain as non-self communication. Theory holds that being aware of our awareness, the voice and head, consciousness, was brought about from the cultural forces while establishing the language of speech, possibly reaching back 3 million years. Did culture and language force connection between modules and separate hemispheres? The action of plasticity, developing new neural connections between modules, hemispheres, elicits new sense receptors that do evolve, and the assumption is that verbal communication improves. Does it follow that if consciousness is based on language, then only communicators of language are conscious? We take note that birds communicate with others, as do whales, dogs, trees, fungus, oh so many possibly conscious beings, added to the long list of traits that convergently evolved, possibly. Evolutionary biologist Stephen Jay Gould reflected philosophically that to experience humanity's fullness, individuals and culture could cultivate balance between both a life of spirit and a life of rational inquiry. Biochemist Bruce Lipton has since wondered if holding a belief about the existence of an afterlife influences our biology and behavior. Human behavior involves the biology of molecules, cells, and systems in order to process thoughts, actions, and habits. To study behavior, deconstruct the nervous system, its cells, molecules, and atoms in an attempt to understand how nature organizes itself. The reductionist method. Studies reveal that incoming sensory information, call them ligands, bind chemically to discrete sets of cell surface receptors. Cell surface receptors analogously imagined as switches. Switches, these cell surface receptors, structures that become decision points for flow of biological logic, physical actions. A generalized behavior model follows. Information input to receptors on neurons elicits behavioral response largely governed by a relatively fast processing, non-conscious, autonomic nervous system, which is programmed by life experience epigenetically. As we so often look for meaning in life, what could it mean to have our biology influenced by belief? Consider the compelling elegance of Mahatma Gandhi's flow. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. Similar to life balance offered by Gould between the spiritual light and rational inquiry, astronaut Bill Anders describes a cognitive shift in awareness during spaceflight while viewing Earth from space. Others report experiencing an intense sense of Earth's fragility from space, all the more so when perceiving the thin atmospheric supporting life here. Uncommonly special is the biology that unites life on Earth. Anders' Earth image for Moon reveals the 5 biomes: tundra, desert, aquatic, grassland, and forest. As trees and hominids have co-evolved for the past 5 million years in forests and grasslands, trees have released molecules of communication, sustenance, including oxygen, food, and connection to spiritual harmony rooted in the earth. An understanding of the terrestrial evolution of plants that nurtures life comes from the fossil record data, indicating that aquatic algae evolved to terrestrial moss about 450 million years ago. And then roots and leaves and trees emerged shortly thereafter, providing high atmospheric oxygenation on Earth. Yet, perseverance of plankton, those primitive photosynthetic aquatic life, whose actions enabled planetary survival, are truly epic. Remaining attention focuses on changing environment over the recent 5 million years, time when the Indian plate subducted Eurasian plate and the Himalayan mountains ascend. During the last 5 million years, humanity descends from trees with opposable thumbs, and the Eurasian setting thus seems likely space for emerging human consciousness. It's curious to wonder if the driving force for emerging consciousness was human language development. If, then likely is a setting cast among arboreal relationships. Primates, mammals, birds, trees, and flowers occupy community niches given their adaptive advantages. Along with the young Himalayan mountains, monsoons developed, interlinking weather with global glacier periods. As Himalayas rise, forest species emerge, and ancestors to both the peach and almond ascend. To the Asian east developed peach trees, whereas Western Eurasian environment favored almonds. Both aid humanity. Go ahead and try to imagine how migrating tribes and teams of early humans grazed, hunted, and lived amid the isoprenes and linalool's sloshing out from trees and bushes onto ancestors' skin of past. Yet one of the largest biomes, grasslands, west of the Tibetan forest, was the setting for emergence of molecules with great diversity, produced by evolution of enzymes in emerging genomes that combine organic functional groups, bound by thermodynamics, doing chemistry that produced medicinal herbs, flowers, and botanicals. Those grasslands, great biomolecular production facilities they are, venture west to the present-day Ukraine, whereby they yield to old-growth Carpathian forests. Those mountains divide European geography, including another tree connection that's nurtured humanity's spirit and fitness, ash and olive. Hardest wood for arrow and tool, that ash and olive branch seems all too frequent, extended far and wide. Information is energy, and good communication makes champions. Communication promotes healthy values for honesty, kindness, prayer, as transmitted by culture. Values for hard work and belief, the golden rule, to be as universal as the laws of thermodynamics. Confidence and a belief in things greater than oneself are traits we've collectively selected in generations since, as cultural evolution proceeds. Parents and community share belief and lessons from past, best intention to help us get over ego, to help us recognize that truth to self, harmonizing with others, may align cell surface receptor switches, find reduced resistance, a good, healthy energy flow. Gandhi's spirit guides the idea that from belief, identity emerges. And through the power of word, from thought, actions form. Within our deterministic universes, the chain of events, not just the chain of particles, elicits responsibility among others to be worthy on this planet, this cosmos. Thank you for your presence.